Hello, I'm David Duke, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk for a moment about myself. You know, there are millions of people watching my videos all over the world, and they're agreeing with the position that I'm putting forth. The controlled media doesn't like that. So what they want to do is to distort me and my past and to try to prejudice the viewer or the reader against me. I really appreciate the fact that you're here, that you're giving me a chance to explain myself and my views freely and honestly. And today I'm not speaking with any teleprompter, any prepared script. I'm just speaking directly from me to you, eye to eye, and hopefully heart to heart about the real issues and what I really stand for. I want to begin by giving you a short clip of an interview of myself from Wolf Blitzer on CNN. A couple of years ago I was in Tehran and they interviewed me there. To start off with, I want you to notice how the clip is not very flattering in terms of appearance. And they can do that. They can take a studio and they can take lighting and they can make anyone look good or bad by their whim. They can make a person look much worse than maybe he really is in real life, and that's part of their process, part of their strategy. Before I went on, for a number of minutes, they did a preparation for the audience to prepare people to try to make them prejudiced, and that's the best word to use, prejudiced against me and what I was going to say during the interview. So here's that clip.
Mr. Duke, thanks very much for coming in. What do you say to those who say, who charge, and there are many, that you're there in Tehran at this Holocaust conference simply because you hate Jews?
Well, first off, Mr. Blitzer, I resent the introduction you made of me. You mentioned the Ku Klux Klan 11 times. That was over 30 years ago in my life. And since that time, I got elected to the House of Representatives. I received a full doctorate. I've been a teacher. I have one of the best-selling books in the world. And you interview many former communists in governments all over the world, and you don't introduce them by saying former communist, and certainly not 11 times. I think you're biased because you're a former lobbyist for AIPAC. You're a Jewish extremist, supporter of Israel, so you want to bias anyone who criticizes Zionism.
Well, do you hate Jews?
No, I don't. Do you hate Americans who don't want the Israeli lobby to have Americans fight and die and thousands maimed because Israel wants it in the Middle East? We have a war in Iraq because Israel wanted that war, not for American interests. They lied to us about weapons of mass destruction, and now they're trying to get America into war against Iran. And I think it would be a tragedy for this country, a tragedy for the world. And you don't like what I say against Zionism, so you want to talk about the Ku Klux Klan rather than the issues facing the world. But I know one thing. You can't impose a solution from the Zionist domination of American foreign policy. Pearl and people like Wolfowitz, Fife, Wormser, Crystal, Abrams, we can go on and on. It sounds like a Jewish wedding. They have set American policy, and they've hurt American interests in the Middle East. Just as I've said for years, as Walt and Mearsheimer of Harvard have said, it's a fact. And we are dying right now in Iraq because we're there for Israel's interests. We've got no oil out of this war.
Are these people simply tools of the Zionist conspiracy?
They're not tools of a conspiracy, but they are definitely tools of the Zionist media and political power. Even the Washington Post said that 60% of the contributions for the Republican Party come from Jewish sources. Plus, if any politician in America dares to criticize Israel, millions will go